War nearly destroyed the world of Altera. Entire civilizations nearly fell fighting over shards, mysterious crystals, powerful enough to fuel both magic and technology. So now, instead of settling conflicts on the battlefield, the factions of the world gather in the mountain city of Altera for something far more civilized. A festival. A very competitive festival. In Altera from Ivy Studio, 2 to 4 players take on the role of faction leaders, competing over 7 rounds to earn prestige, impress powerful guilds, craft artifacts, build influence, and ultimately gain a seat on the High Council. It plays in about 90 minutes and is recommended for ages 14 and up. And I absolutely love this setup, because beneath the bright colors and elegant presentation is a world where every smiling handshake feels just slightly dangerous. Everyone is technically avoiding war while also desperately trying to outmaneuver each other at every opportunity, which honestly feels pretty realistic. At its heart, Altera is a simultaneous play, bag building, worker placement game driven entirely by dice, which I love. Each round, players draw 5 dice from their bag, roll them secretly behind their screen, and begin deploying emissaries to action spaces across the board. Players will secretly slot dice at the same time, reveal simultaneously, and then deploy their emissaries to the matching spaces. And that changes energy immediately. So, you're constantly trying to predict where the other players might go, deciding which dice to commit, and hoping the action space you desperately need doesn't get blocked before your next deployment. There's this tension between careful planning and total improvisation, which means naturally, the moment you think you've built the perfect strategy, the dice look back at you and say, "That's adorable." Now, one of my favorite little twists is that if multiple players reveal dice for the same action space during the same deployment, they all still get to place there before that space becomes blocked for future deployments that round. The dice themselves are the engine of the game. You recruit new dice, upgrade existing ones, trash weaker dice from your bag, and slowly shape your faction into something far more specialized and powerful over the course of the festival. Dice come in 4 tiers, starting with basic white tier 0 dice before evolving into something stronger, guild-specific dice. These 3 guilds each bring their own flavors to that progression. The Artisan Guild focuses on culture, influence, athleticism, and craftsmanship. The Merchants lean into trade, economy, politics, and flexibility. And the Alchemists tap into magic, technology, and powerful artifacts fueled by Shards, my favorite of the factions. So you're not just building a stronger bag here, you're building an identity. Every deployment becomes a small tactical puzzle. Some action spaces require specific symbols, others require dice from specific guilds, some require both, and because your available dice are constantly changing, every round asks you to adapt. Do you spend your strongest dice now to claim the action space you need, or hold onto them hoping future you somehow becomes smarter than present you, because any unused dice still matter? Once deployments are finished, the remaining dice in your pool generate resources like coins, shards, favors, influence, and high council reputation depending on their icons. Tier 1, 2, and 3 dice also generate additional influence during this phase, helping fuel future recruitment and upgrades. And this is where the game starts layering systems together in a really satisfying way. Coins help you purchase benefactor tokens and activate certain effects, while shards fuel artifact crafting and upgrades. Favors let you manipulate dice faces or ignore guild requirements, which basically means Altera occasionally lets you politely cheat destiny. Artifacts unlock new abilities and strategic combos, and every faction comes with its own once per round ability that nudges players towards different strategies from the start. I really especially like how the artifacts work. Now here's the neat thing, each game only uses 6 different artifact types, pulled from a much larger pool, so the strategic landscape shifts from session to session. Some artifacts help manipulate your dice engine, while others reward certain strategies or even bend the normal placement rules in clever ways. And then there's the guild clashes. At the end of every round, each guild rewards the player or players who earn the highest reputation with them that round. Those players gain the current guild reward before resetting the reputation on that track back to 0. The High Council works very similar, rewarding whoever advanced furthest along its track. The reset mechanic is clever because it constantly creates tension. So, do you push hard to win a clash now, or do you intentionally stay just behind another player so they reset first? Do you spread your efforts across multiple guilds or specialize in one path towards prestige? Every round feels like this balancing act between long-term engine building and short-term political maneuvering maneuvering while your opponents quietly destroy the plans you were very confident about just 30 seconds earlier. And all of this happens inside a world that feels surprisingly alive for a strategy-heavy game. The idea of nations replacing open warfare with competition, reputation, negotiation, and spectacle gives Altera a really distinct personality. It doesn't just feel like a system layered together, it feels like a place. So, by the end of the 7th round, objectives are revealed, final prestige is counted, and one faction earns a permanent seat on the High Council. Altera looks like it's aiming squarely at a player who enjoys strategic engine building, tactical timing, simultaneous play, and that deeply satisfying feeling of watching a carefully crafted dice bag finally start firing in all cylinders. Because in Altera, victory doesn't come from conquering the world, it comes from convincing the world that you deserve to lead it. Alright folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a paid preview and everything you've seen has been in prototype form, so keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, that said, right out of the gate I have to say, I really enjoyed the tactile experience around this game. There's a lot going on, a lot of decisions to be made, but the fact that you're building up your dice pools, and it is much like a deck builder but with dice, I love dice in games so much, so that totally appeals to me, and how you upgrade them, it's just such a neat aspect to this game, and how you maneuver along the tracks on the board, and how things can change from game to game, which is a really interesting aspect for sure. And also, big shout out to the artifacts, because that is definitely a favorite aspect of mine. Now, some of this again is just all prototype, so these boards I know are going to be taller from behind the screens, so it'll be less obvious about what you're doing behind there as you're getting ready and moving out onto the board. So, with that said, there's a lot of neat things here, a lot of neat decisions to be made, but folks, ultimately, if it does look like something of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Like what you just watched? Not only can you find more great videos here on our YouTube channel, you should go check out GamingTrend.com, the longest running independent game and gaming culture site on the web. From the table to the screen and everything in between, at Gaming Trend we cover video games and tabletop games, tech and gear like 3D printers, and even film, television, and comic books.
You'll find the latest news, reviews, and previews alongside our in-depth editorials, weekly newsletters, and the latest season of our tabletop podcast, Tabletop Throwdown.
Also, importantly, Gaming Trend is by humans for humans. No AI is used to generate our content, and we try not to platform products that use what we consider to be exploitative technologies.
So yeah, definitely like and subscribe here, but also go check out GamingTrend.com. We do a lot more than just videos.